Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
All right, I hope you're having a good day. Is it busy?
Yeah, so far so good.
Okay. So my question is, like, this is a really interesting story. And I'm wondering, what do you want audiences to take away or learn after watching the movie?
I want audiences to take away that that nobody's ever beyond redemption or the ability to change the course of their life. I think that's a really powerful message of the film, and one that I think a lot of people could use right now. So that's my hope.
Okay, thank you.
Candy?
Hi, Rosalind.
Hi.
First off, congratulations on this being your, on Father Stu being your directorial feature debut.
Thank you.
I was able to screen it last night, and it was amazing, super powerful. So my question is, as a screenwriter, can you share some of the feelings that you felt, setting the scenes and kind of developing the movie, in your mind based on Father Stu's life?
Yeah, I mean, I think you obviously, you write what you know, right, is the expression. With that said, I've never been a priest or a man, but there are a lot of things about the character, namely his search for purpose in life, and for light in the darkness, which are things that I could relate to, from a time in my life or times in my life. And I always approach writing through the lens of the character, and what does this person want out of life? And that's sort of what governed the entire creative process.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Kathy, do you want to ask the next question?
Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to know why this project. How is it near and dear to your heart, and what was the motivation behind this project?
Well, I had written a couple of other scripts for Mark as an actor and a producer, and I really enjoyed writing for him. And when he called me about this project, initially I was a bit reluctant to take it on because I was not raised Catholic, and I felt like that might be a sort of not a barrier to entry, but it might not allow me to write with the sort of authority or expertise that this kind of story required. But like I said, it was sort of a process of considering what about this character and this story I could relate to personally, and also looking at the state of the world and so many people close to me, and not suffering and searching for some kind of light in the darkness. And it just felt like it was the right time and a necessary story to tell at the moment.
And Angela, coming live from Disney.
Hi, guys. Hi, Rosalind. Congratulations. I love this movie so much. I found myself crying. I am Catholic, and I found myself crying so many times throughout the film. So how did you hear about Father Stu, and what drew you to this project?
Well, I heard about him through Mark, who had heard about him probably 10 years earlier. And he'd been searching for the right person or people to bring the story to life. And I was hugely honored that he thought I might be the one to do that. Like I said, there was such an inspiring message of hope and resiliency that I felt was something people need right now. But also, the fact that you've seen the movie, he exhibited such strength and grace and humility in his suffering, and that's something that was so inspiring to me. and that I hope can be inspiring to other people who are suffering. I mean, who isn't asking, why me? Why is this happening to me? You know, but he had such a beautiful outlook on that. And I think that's an important takeaway for everybody.
Congratulations. I'm sure this is going to do really, really well. It was beautiful. We need more movies like this, honestly.
Thank you. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Candy, let's have you go next.
I already asked my question. Do you want me to ask another one?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you guys had second questions. I'll go back to Mary Beth.
Oh, okay.
I do actually.
Oh, you do? Okay. So I think this story is just it feels really big and really hard to kind of compact it all into a movie length. So I'm wondering, did you have to make any tough choices while creating it?
Definitely. Yeah, it's always a matter of deciding which moments of somebody's vast and intriguing life, you know, you choose. And he, you know, I had to take creative liberties to condense his life into, you know, 2 hours. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't just a boxer, he was a wrestler, he was a football player. When he moved to LA, he had a variety of odd jobs in addition to acting. He went to the seminary in Oregon and sort of traveled the world learning about Catholicism and enriching his faith. And ultimately he served as a priest for I think 4 years before he died. So there were many things I had to eliminate, but I did the best I could to sort of distill the essence of everything and capture the spirit of the man, most importantly.
All right. Thank you.
And we'll go over to Candy.
Okay, sorry. So when you were, you know, working on writing the film, were you able to, you know, have access to his family? You know, what were those experiences like for you?
Yes, I met his father, Bill, played by Mel, before I started writing. Actually, while I was still figuring out if it was something I thought I could or wanted to write, I sat down with Bill as well as one of Stuart's good friends from the seminary, and we had a sort of preliminary interview where I gleaned some valuable information, and then I was also given this pamphlet that was handed out at his memorial service, and it was filled with written anecdotes from people whose lives he'd touched, and they were so funny, and they just painted such a vivid picture of what a, you know, vibrant, charismatic, mischievous kind of guy he was, even as a priest. And so that was a really valuable resource as well.
That's wonderful. It truly came across, and I mean, Mark did an amazing job.
He did,
So.
didn't he? Very proud of him.
Kathy, do you want to ask the next question?
Yes, thank you. Segueing, Mark did an amazing job. Regarding the rest of the cast, did you, when you were writing, for the script, did you know whom you wanted to have, or was it just the regular, here, read, let me know, let me see who fits in to what character?
Well, I wrote the part of Bill with Mel in mind.
Okay.
Hoping I could convince him to play. No. He independently was very drawn to the character and
Yes.
and loved the script and the message. And but everybody else, no, I didn't write with anybody in mind. In fact, I had a wonderful casting director, Sheila Jaffe, who I collaborated with closely, and she introduced me to Teresa Ruiz, who for me is one of the most exciting finds. I know I didn't find her. She's been out there. She was in Narcos and she's been in other films, but she's such a treasure and such a wonderful talent. And Jacki Weaver, gosh, she's a, you know, a legend. And Malcolm McDowell, gosh, I was so fortunate to have such an incredible cast with such, legendary experience.
The cast was unprecedented. It was just absolutely phenomenal. And the movie was great. So thank you. Thank you for creating this.
Thank you.
And we'll go next to Angela.
So Rosalind, my question to you is, what is your personal takeaway from this? What did you learn throughout this process about Stu, about his life? What did it change you in any way? Because even just as a viewer, it was so compelling and it was so moving, and it made me think about my own life, right? Yeah. So again, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, you did for sure. You nailed it. So what is your personal takeaway? I guess that's what my question is.
Yeah, good question. I think it's such a lesson, the enormous responsibility of telling somebody's life, on screen is really daunting. But in researching Stu and in finding what about him through the writing process, kind of getting to know him as I wrote him, I realized that the thing I most admired about him was his humility, and his ability to surrender. And I think that's something, especially nowadays for men, I have a 5-year-old son, so I'm thinking about these things that we sort of live in a culture where the idea of surrender as a man feels like it's sort of shamed, and religion really requires that. And Stu was such a beautiful, sort of profound example of the extremes of those two things. And there's, I think, no way that you could have told that story without having been touched and moved and inspired by that level of humility and grace that he had. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure, thank you.
And we'll start back with Mary Beth. Oh, I think you're on mute.
You are right. I was. So what did you what did you see as your biggest challenge? I think I'd want to know, like, before you actually, or as you were at the beginning of the process of telling the story and creating the movie, what did you think would be your biggest challenge?
I thought, when I started writing it, I had no idea that I would end up directing it. So all of those fears were not present, thankfully. Yeah. But I think it was the lack of access to the real guy, because he passed. Yeah. Ideally, I felt that to truly capture him faithfully, I would have needed to have met him and experienced his energy, but that wasn't to be, which was okay, but it does make it more difficult.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Candy?
Being that you were a part of, the screenwriting, the initial process, and producing the film, or directing the film, I'm sorry. Can you tell me from, the initial mindset of, creating the story and, putting it, say, pen to paper, and then seeing it on the big screen, what are your final thoughts in terms of, what you made?
Gosh, well, I think directing has certainly made me a better writer, because now you think about all the ways in which, as a writer, you take liberties and don't think about things like logistics, and but now I can't get rid of that. No, I'm really proud of it. I of course look at so many things that I wish I had done differently, but you can't spend your life regretting that. I'm just so proud of the whole cast and all the performances and the whole crew. I mean, everybody, this was a true labor of love, this film. It was low budget, and everybody really came to the table with passion for the story and a belief that we could make something great and tell a story that mattered and that people needed to hear. And you know, a lot of sacrifices were made financially, personally, to make it happen. And I'm just really, really moved still by that.
I will continue to be moved by this film, and I feel like it's just one of those films that you have to tell everyone about. So
Oh, thank you. Please do.
I will. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Then we'll do 2 more questions, and we'll start with Kathy, and then we'll end with Angela.
Perfect. Have you seen the movie in its entirety?
Yes, many times.
Okay. Okay. So I wanted to know, was there a scene, looking back on it, what was your favorite scene? And was there a scene that didn't make it in the movie that you thought, I wish I had tweaked it in there or put a little one in there?
Yes, gosh, favorite scene. That's hard. I think my favorite scene is the one where Mel's character comes to the church and Mark's character is laying on the floor of the church, and they have this sort of the first reconciliation, which is very tentative and awkward, but so beautiful. And gosh, I remember I was crying as I was directing the scene. And sometimes you think, God, am I just like up my own ass? Like, is that, I don't know if that's, you know, but I still, every time I watch that scene, it gets me teary-eyed. So it's an example of the incredible amount of restraint both of those men have as actors, that I think is just unbelievable, and so powerful. So that would be my favorite scene. Gosh, as far as things that didn't make it into the film, there are so many. They're releasing the deleted scenes, you know, in the DVD extras. It would be fun because there are some, oh man, there's one, it's really silly, but it makes me laugh. It's Mark sitting in a makeup chair getting his makeup done before his mop commercial, and it's just really silly, and but it's kind of, it totally captures the spirit of the character. And it didn't make it in because, you know, look, you're always trying to make the tightest version of the film that accomplishes everything you need it to accomplish, and it was a little bit extraneous. But there's that and a few more like that you'll see.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for setting the path, because you're truly a trailblazer. So thank you for doing everything that you do.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you all for your support of the film, because it's, you know, the audience response to films like this will be what encourage, you know, more films to get made like this. So really appreciate it. Have we got one more?
One more with, Angela.
So I kind of want to piggyback on Kathy's question. What was your personal favorite scene for you?
For me, well, to watch, that, I guess that's the one that Kathy asked. My favorite scene to film, you mean? Like the
Yes. Yes.
You know, any of the sort of more humorous. No, you know what? What was interesting? Filming the motorcycle accident was really daunting. Mostly because I was so afraid for the safety of the stunt guy.
Oh, got it.
We decided to do the stunt practically. So the guy actually crashed into a car and went flying off the motorcycle and rolling down the road. But it was an exhilarating and emotional scene to film, and it was like 2:00 in the morning, and you know, it was kind of it was fun. It was a moment of pride for me to get to flex my muscles shooting action.
Yeah, that was really an intense scene. Like his body just kind of flying over, and just all of it was really, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to make it, honestly.
Well, by
like-
the grace of God, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. This has been lovely.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
thank you, ladies. We'll conclude the Mommy Blogger Roundtable. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.